All right, welcome back to another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Taking a little break from our top 10 NFL positions for the upcoming year, and we're going to be discussing some NBA recap. The NBA Finals has ended, as did the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. World Series of baseball and softball for college. There's all the sports are ending. All we got left is baseball now, but
You touch them all, don't you? You're a man of equality across sports.
you know how we do it out here.
I hear
But
you.
yeah, joining me, the scum himself, Mr. Tim Mullen, and welcoming back a masked up gentleman here, Tyrell Bradshaw. So if you're listening on podcast only audio, Tyrell's wearing if you're reading this, you're too close mask.
With a purple eye mask, like sleeping eye mask. It
Sleeping
looks like
mask,
looks
yeah.
heavy cushion though, like a Tempur-Pedic one.
Those look comfortable, yeah.
You could
Tyrell,
like
would you
drop
like to?
something on your head and probably still sleep. You wouldn't even know.
Bro, you can put this. Hold on, let me take this off. You can put this in the freezer, and it acts as a
Hmm.
as like
Oh,
a like if you're running a fever, like it's
Oh
real nice. But
shoot.
yeah, no,
it's like the
I'm wearing
modern
this
version of like frozen vegetables on your head.
facts.
Oh, I'll still do that.
Facts.
I'll throw them on my ankle, tape that bad boy up.
The only time you use frozen vegetables is just for bodily injuries.
Oh, and to cook, obviously. But
Oh, okay, nice.
yeah.
Obvious stuff.
Anyways, so today, yeah, we're gonna recap some of the NBA Finals. Tyrell is a Denver Nuggets fan, so he's having a nice time here. His Nuggets won the chip, pretty convincingly. I think we all kind of felt like it was going to be a 5 or 6 game series that Miami really wasn't going to give them too much trouble. I did think it was funny that like some of the Heat players like Haslam were coming out and they're like, "Wow, why is everyone saying we're not a match for them just because we got some undrafted guys? We can compete." I was like, "No, they're pointing out that there's a clear difference in talent, and you guys kind of snuck your way there. Granted, you played as a team and
True.
you're well coached, but yeah, I wouldn't say they didn't deserve to be there, but they were definitely outclassed for sure."
I mean, Denver was just so much better. I mean, it wasn't Miami was not the only team that Denver proved they were so much better to. I mean, they swept the Lakers with really no hesitation or trouble there. They cruised through the whole Western Conference almost.
Mhm.
Clearly the better team. I mean, hats off to them. And I've got to say, I mean, this is the difference between me and Dakota. I can, even though it doesn't happen very often compared to you, where it's almost regularly, I can admit when I was wrong, and boy was I wrong. I
Okay.
I don't remember where I had the Nuggets
Okay.
going, but they definitely didn't have them going to Western Conference Finals or NBA Finals. I
I
think I
did.
even yeah, I didn't. I had them losing for early. I put some more slander on Jokic's name, like I've been for the last 3 years whenever we do these MVP discussions.
Kind of have to as
And
Embiid fans.
yeah, but you know what? As Embiid falls out of the playoffs, doesn't show up in big games, and then calls his teammates out, and Jokic just shows up every day and is just completely dominant in every aspect of the game. 3 years later, I'm starting to realize why he won those first two MVPs. Maybe those people were onto something. So, I mean, I try not to chime in too much, because mine is doom and gloom. I was completely wrong and wasn't even close, honestly, in any of my predictions. Um, but I mean, hey,
Love to see
for
that.
each sorrow and loser there is, like myself, there's a guy who's just having the time of his life and enjoying it. So I'll let Tyrell have his moment and tell us all about how the joys of victory it is and how it feels to have a player that is MVP caliber and who is dominant in the playoffs, while we have a guy who just that couldn't be found and throws his guys under the bus,
Yeah,
and a team that just has zero heart.
yeah, no heart.
Yeah, man.
Pathetic.
Like when I tell you, I was literally Dakota called me during the final like moments of the game. I almost didn't I almost didn't answer the phone.
You didn't answer. I had to
Um,
call you again.
Yeah, because I didn't. I was like, just in case his stream is faster than mine, I can't have it be ruined. Like,
Uh,
I needed like the authentic reaction. But,
Absolutely.
yeah, man, it was dope, man. Like, I know it's kind of random because like I'm obviously from the East Coast. I'm going to Denver this like in about a month, um,
Hmm.
and
Fun
and
time.
stuff. I'm obviously not from the city or anything like that. So obviously everyone's like, "How are you a fan?" But when I was younger, it's probably like, oh God, sixth grade, I guess, maybe 2006. Um, Allen Iverson gets traded, obviously, from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Nuggets as a young kid who was inspired to play basketball from that 2001 series between AI and that Sixers squad versus the Lakers, who end up obviously going on to win that series in five. I was devastated when AI left the city. So I was like, I guess I'm a Nuggets fan. But my uncle was like, listen, like you're young, so I'll let you get away with it once. But you can't like switching up sports teams ain't that you can't do that. So
Smart
if you're
man.
gonna pick this
Smart man.
team, you gonna like you gotta stay with them. And I was like, all right, like I promise, like I'll stay with Denver because they got AI. And then obviously like 2 years later, AI is no longer in that jersey. Um, but yeah, no, we've been coasting ever since then, like rocking out with Denver, hoping that we get to this point. Seen a lot of stuff with like in like the media and stuff like, oh, like the Nuggets want this rivalry with the Lakers so bad, and blah blah blah, and they're talking all this stuff about the Lakers like at the parade or whatever. Someone made a comment. But like if you don't know, if you don't watch it, like bro, we've lost to the Lakers 7 times in the playoffs. Like Kobe, as much as I love him and God rest his soul, that man has tormented the hell out of my favorite team for years. And then LeBron did it in 2020 when we had an opportunity to go in the bubble. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like if you're a long-standing fan and you've been watching the game for a while, like your team for a while, it's like you've been waiting for them to get to this moment. It's been a project. We've had Mike Malone for the last 8 years in a league where keeping a coach and keeping players is not like the popular thing anymore for whatever reason. There's no patience. It's win now or don't win at all.
Yep.
But this roster has been built over the last 6 years. Mike Malone's been at the helm for 8 of those 6 years. We finally got to a point where they go ahead and win this championship. Jokic is a 41st pick in the second round. Make the trade, obviously, with Bol, get him out of there, get Aaron Gordon, and just felt like they made all the right pieces to put this team together, and then it finally burst a championship. Took a chance on Michael Porter Jr., jersey I'm wearing today. Obviously, he had a major back injury. Dude was supposed to come out and be first pick in that draft, but with the back injuries, everybody was doubting him, so we pick him up with the 14th pick, lottery pick. And he arguably may have had one of the better games when it comes, or his standout game was low key our closeout game in Game 5.
That's about his only game.
So,
he showed up when he
literally,
needed to, but he was
bro.
Yeah.
That shooting slump was serious. Like I was very concerned for him, but
oh yeah.
Weirdly
enough, both games, like that last game, I felt like both teams just did not play well. Like that was the worst I've seen both of them in that series.
Was terrible. The finals
was so bad.
The finals in general weren't the best, I would say, for like a non-fan of either team perspective, but
yeah,
it was the most competitive game, like down to last seconds, but the worst.
Yeah, I was worried about that too. As the game was going on, I was like, this is low key not like if you're like a casual fan, you're gonna hate this game right now. Like it's not like the shot making isn't there, the electricity. Like I mean, it was a close game for all intents and purposes, so like that aspect of it was dope. But yeah, it was a lot more defense than anything else. But
what was the
more of the? No, go ahead.
What was the Jimmy Butler fake foul? Was that the final game or was that Game 4?
Oh, that was
5.
awful.
The kick.
You know what? I love NBA. It was my favorite sport when I was a young kid, and I've always been a fan. If there's one thing that is really pushing me off the sport, it is the officiating, the inconsistencies. The whole point of this challenge is to challenge just bad calls. They went and reviewed that. Like Jimmy Butler kicked Aaron Gordon in the nuts. Like I've seen people get ejected for that.
Yeah.
And he got rewarded with 3 free throws.
Bro, I'm telling you, the script writers were working overtime.
The script
in
writers
Game 5.
Back at it again.
They wanted to go to Game 6 so bad. The calls were outrageous. Like our entire starting lineup had 2 fouls before the first quarter was even over. We had shot like 2 or 4, and then the free throw shooting was just terrible.
I mean, DeAndre Jordan got some minutes.
He did.
Yeah, bro. Like literally,
DeAndre Jordan's getting minutes,
and
everybody
was in foul trouble. Jokic was in foul trouble. Aaron Gordon was in foul trouble. Like it was a lot. But it was a dope feeling. I watched a lot of funny enough, because again, like I said, I'm going to Denver later this month, but I was talking to my girlfriend Kate about moving the flight up because I wanted to get there for the parade. Obviously that wasn't feasible.
Looked like they had a good time.
But
yeah.
I saw someone all day. I was just watching videos of them.
Someone was doing the Stone Cold. He was cracking some beers together.
KCP, great form too. Great form.
Yeah,
it was phenomenal. I saw Aaron Gordon. Was walking
Yeah, and
around shirtless.
he never got to celebrate the championship that he won with LA because it was during the COVID year. So they never had a
Mm,
parade
That's true.
or
Yeah,
not a
that's
real
true.
parade. So he was out there, but nah, it was just awesome. So overall, great feeling, super happy about how everything turned out. And then my only like one little slight is that obviously your guy gets regular season MVP, but my guy got Finals MVP. But that's the only
Oh
negative
yeah.
thing I'm gonna say. It's the only thing I'm gonna say because I'm
Negative.
similar. Yeah, that's
I
similar.
I think that's even cooler. Like, oh, I went to MVP
Yeah,
twice. You take it away from me. Oh, I'll just go win the final then. Like,
yeah.
just to prove you
he's
wrong. Like
his
that. I feel like that's
his
even better for Jokic.
his whole demeanor is baffling to me.
It's so good
The
though, bro.
the
Like
the
he's
interview where they were like, "Well, are you excited for the parade?" He's like, "Oh no, when's the parade? Thursday? No, I need to go home." I'm like, what? What? Bro, you just won
yeah.
one of the greatest sports championships in the world, and you were worried about going to pet your horses? Like, what are we
He's
doing?
he's he's buying a new one.
I love all the jokes are like, bro just works a 9 to 5, and that's literally like what I envision
Literally,
when I see him. I'm like, no,
literally.
like maybe he is, obviously is. How can you not be happy and ecstatic when you just won, Finals MVP and the championship itself? But he just doesn't show it very, very well. It's interesting. You don't see that very often.
I was gonna say it's funny that you say that because I was on Twitter and I was looking and
It's a bad
one of the
place.
reporters one of the reporters was saying, does anyone else find it annoying that Jokic continues this whole I don't care thing? Because like he left his Finals MVP trophy with the equipment manager, went back to go get
Also
the trophy,
wild.
and it's gone, and now he has
Yeah.
no idea where the Finals MVP is. And it's just this whole like nonchalant like talk and stuff like that. At the parade, he did address it with the fans, and he was like, "I did want to go home, but I'm having the time of my life. So like, this is incredible, like type of stuff."
Mm,
Um, I don't know.
that's
I'd say
PR
like
talking.
personally, yeah, I'd say personally for me as a fan, like I think it's kind of refreshing to have something a little bit different, like not getting the
Mm.
same old questions and knowing who like listening to him interact with the media before these moments, like Jokic has always been the type of person that he's going to troll, he's going to joke and stuff like that, and he has that very nonchalant um, type of approach to him anyway. So just hearing him just do this on like a public platform, I think is funny because I know it's throwing other people off, but it's like I've seen him do this in interviews all the time. Like I just find it comical. So
Each person is wired different. I think it probably helps. Like, it's a big cultural thing. Like in Slovenia or Slovakia, where he is, I can't believe they do many championship
Serbia,
parades there. Serbia, that's
Serbia.
right. I knew it was something with an S.
Right. Slovenia,
But
Slovakia, Serbia. Oh man.
I can't imagine they do many championship parades. And like the fact that, you know, in finals game, like everyone in the whole entire city is glued to the TV. Like this is the only thing anyone cares about. We're all talking about it. I mean, you got more people talking about the finals game in Denver than there probably are in humans in Serbia.
bro.
But you know,
Denver's a sports city for sure,
oh, for
for
sure, yeah.
sure. They showed it. They came out today for the parade. But even like Serbia, back where he's from, like all the broadcasts, like it's actually incredible because the time difference. Like the games are on at like 3 a.m. their
Yeah.
time, but you still
Yeah,
have like broadcasting and stuff like that going on because everybody is just like Jokic, Jokic,
It's
Jokic.
the
So
Yao Ming effect.
yeah,
you have to. You have
Yeah.
to.
hmm yeah,
I
he's
mean, in London,
representing.
we stay, we stay open and stay late for the Eagles game. That's it's a must. You have to do it. I
There's
got
a there's like
go on.
one I was gonna say on WIP. I remember during the Eagles season. There's some person who calls in every week, and they live in like Japan, but they like watch the Eagles game in their bathtub because it's the quietest place to do it. It's the only where they gets really good service, and it's like things people do to watch their teams when they're in different countries is it's kind of
Oh,
mind blowing.
do you know what my daily life, day to day life is like?
You know what? I completely forgot you don't live in the United States for about 5 seconds.
Guy, he's like, this guy has to watch his game in the toilet. I
I was
wonder
about to
what that
I was about to
tragic
ask
life must be like.
how are you watching the NBA finals?
You got to pick and choose. I mean, not gonna lie, the NBA Finals was a morning watch. I would rewatch the full
Okay.
game in the morning. I'd start my day with it. You just ignore your phone. You don't touch your phone. I got all the league pass and the game passes. It comes in handy. But there's like different games. You got to weigh them.
Eggs
Some
and
games
basketball.
you stay up all night for them. There's the games you stay up all night for. Then there's the games you catch in the morning. NBA Finals, that was a morning watch. Sixers, I was over in Philly when it was happening. Obviously, the Eagles playoff game was the last one I stayed up all night for. Was that Giants, well, the Super Bowl, and then the
Super Bowl,
Giants
yeah.
game. The Phillies, I did a couple of their World Series, stay up all night, but it's not easy, because you don't want to fall asleep. Once I commit to it, once you do the overnight, like you can't fall asleep. It's not like Netflix where you can just pick up wherever you left off. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, if I fast forward a little too far, a couple minutes, we got a problem. There's
We got a
could
problem.
be some big things going on. It's not like we can just pause this. It's tough. It's not easy. Plus, it makes it much tougher to go to sleep when the game's already started and you're already glued in. And now, you're like, oh, I can't leave now. They're on a 20-0 run.
That's true.
That's true. The struggle. Me and the Japan guy in the tub definitely can understand it. Can I say one thing, but like completely off topic? Because Tyrell was hitting on this when he was like talking about how Denver is a great sports city, which I would agree. And they obviously showed everyone that's out and about. It's great seeing like small market. I don't know if Denver's small market. It's pretty like big city versus like those big time, like the LA effect, like when the Lakers were playing the Nuggets and they were going to Lakers games and it was like, I don't know, Prince Harry I saw was there. The Kardashian was there every other day. Jack Nicholson. And then you go to Denver and it's like, Russell Wilson would come every once in a while, maybe. Sean Payton came the one day. That was big news.
Mm-hmm.
One guy that popped up quite often, Peyton Manning, showing up a lot of Denver games.
I saw that, yeah.
Are we at the point where, because he shows up to a lot of Denver stuff, are we at the point where now Peyton Manning is like Broncos legend over Colts legend?
Yes.
The more post like career Peyton, I think he's leaning more towards the Broncos. Like now it's almost hard to remember that he was on the Colts.
Well,
yeah.
That's kind
post life
like...
Peyton is all Denver. He is all Denver.
I feel like you get to pick. I feel like you get to pick and choose when you win a championship in multiple places. Like if you ask Shaq right now who he is, he's LA, regardless of the fact that he has in Miami. I feel like the same thing is true when it comes to Peyton Manning. He may have won that championship with the Colts, but the Broncos one may have meant more to him.
Well, I mean,
like that was
that argument. The Shaq argument's different. Like, obviously, yeah, he won 3 championships with the Lakers, but his most dominant years were there in LA. Mm-hmm. Peyton only won 1 with the Colts, but his most dominant years there. His Broncos championship was like Shaq's Miami championship.
It was
towards the end. He was already a legend.
It was a walk-off. It was a walk-off win.
True.
It was Super Bowl 50 too. Yeah.
All I know is since post playing career, it's almost like he's never played for the Colts. He is all Denvered out. You see him all Denver everywhere.
I kind of agree, but also like if you were given the option of like assuming maybe he lives there, like would you rather live in Indianapolis or would you rather live in Colorado? Well, I feel like that's not really
Colorado
a choice there.
I mean, I've never been to Indy, but it's a lot of years there.
There ain't nothing there.
Yeah, I heard it's the city, and then it's like, oh wow, look at that! I can't see anything in the distance.
He doesn't he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything with the Colts, let alone Indy. He doesn't go to Pacers games. That's
maybe there's weird bad blood that we don't know about. I think of him more of like it's like a Kurt Warner thing. I feel like Kurt Warner finished his career with the Cardinals and like did a lot of good stuff for him, but like people think of Kurt Warner like, oh, he was a Rams legend quarterback. I still think of Peyton Manning as a Colts legend, not a Broncos legend. But
I don't know, man. He's big in the Denver scene now. There was talks that he was going to be a GM, and then he was in, maybe the ownership.
If the Pacers were in the finals, I'm sure he would be there. But
I don't know. He's all Denver, man. He doesn't even remember the Colts.
I don't know. I do want to say Tyrell and I talked about this. Isn't it interesting how Jokic's brothers are just tatted up from head to toe, and Jokic doesn't have a single tattoo on his body. Tyrell and I convinced that
they're celebs.
They're mafia.
They definitely are. I don't care what anybody says, but they're dope too, though. Like the city loves them, like other fans love them and recognize them. Like they're really dope too. So yeah, man. But to go off of my other point I was trying to make earlier, I'm one of those. I try to be. I'm one of the like a more humble fan, as you could say, because I knew that the second like Denver won, the Philly slander was going to start online, going crazy, like Embiid, all sorts of
Honestly,
stuff.
It's the reverse. Then people start shit on Embiid out of nowhere when he's not even playing right now.
Yeah, like that for me.
He's so irrelevant. in this
Yeah.
argument. It's almost like
Here,
all that arguing about MVP, like he just schooled him.
like my thing is this, like they're two incredible players, and I had said from jump I never wanted to smoke with Philly ever. So it's ironic that of course the two best centers now they got, and they don't have beef, but like the fans go back and forth between like who's better and stuff like that. I'm glad Jokic won and all this other stuff. Obviously, he plays on my favorite team. I just don't want to see people start to give up on Embiid as if he's not talented. Like that dude's still talented. Now
Well,
he's got to
yeah.
get healthier and he's got to show up in the playoffs because like y'all need him. Like the fact that James gave y'all two 40-point games and he's a bum. Let's just get that out of there. Like James Harden is trash, but Embiid couldn't give you like a 50 ball in any of
Mm.
those games or to kind of take over a game
Yeah.
for y'all and kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like some of it maybe it's coaching and it's the system that they're playing in or how much they have to rely on him. Maybe the Celtics just built the wall the best way that they could, and Embiid really couldn't overcome it or whatever the case may be. But as a fan, like you want to see that. So I'm hoping that he comes back with some fire, like, and I hope that Philly keeps the dedication to him because he's legit, man. Like he's
Yeah, no,
legit no matter
I
I
what.
think for sure. I think the biggest problem is between like Denver and Philly, which I noticed, and really Denver going against the model of just get as many superstar players you can and throw them on a team, see what happens, you'll win some games. Denver is just perfectly built. They've got a superstar. They know what he does. They know what he's really good at. They know what he's not good at. They go and get two knockdown shooters, you know, to play against this guy who's the greatest assist man as a big man. Guy can't play any defense, so they go and trade for a power forward who's not going to give you anything offensively, but can guard literally anyone on that floor. He's so athletic, can move anywhere. Like the team is so beautifully built. Even KCP fits in so well. Just an extra shooter who knows his role. He's been on a championship team. I even liked, Bruce Brown is like that hot, the microwave scorer. He gets hot whenever off the bench. The rookie Christian Brown was like, he's just a young, athletic, put his, you know, head down and tenacious defender. Like it's like miraculous to see this nowadays in the NBA. Just a team perfectly built. Because most people do like like you were saying. What I think the problem with Embiid is, you got Embiid, and there's just like, well, fuck it, Embiid will figure it out. Let's give him this bum of a coach. Let's bring in this superstar who's clearly on the decline and doesn't really fit this system at all,
uh-huh.
and just throw a whole bunch of random people on the floor and see what happens. That is my biggest takeaway: is how well the Nuggets are built, like just to built around their star and in general.
And I think you look
Yeah,
at.
and the
Go ahead,
okay, go
Tyrell.
ahead, go ahead. No,
Oh
I
no,
was gonna say, and the other thing about that too, which brought up another like really cool debate too, is like I feel like anymore the hype at the end of the NBA season is always free agency. Who's going where? Who's about to get traded? Who's about to end up at this place? But when you think about like the dynasties and stuff like that, so like minus Kevin Durant, the Golden State Warriors, they were all built through the draft. This Nuggets team, all built through the draft, minus Aaron Gordon, who got traded late, and then KCP with
It
the
was a
signing and
perfect
whatever,
trade,
Bruce
though.
Brown. But
Perfect
like
trade. Aaron Gordon, no,
all
he didn't
like
cost everything.
the main Bol and a couple picks. Like when you think about it, like you almost have to when stuff like this happens, it's like you almost have to rethink. It's like, yo, it's going out on free agency and trying to pay all these people and trying to find this perfect match like the way to go and like not
hmm
prioritizing the picks because you're trading away your future to win now. And then when it doesn't happen now, then you're pissed. And then you have no picks because you traded all of them. So now it's like if we don't win now, we're not going to win for another like 10 years
Oh
because
yeah,
now
I mean,
we just have these people. So
these trades too. Like, look at trades like Paul George to the Clippers or like James Harden to the Nets. Like, they cost everything. That's your whole
Yep.
franchise. Crazy to say when this trade happened, but Aaron Gordon being traded to the Nuggets was more impactful than Paul George to the Clippers or James Harden to the Nets. And
Yeah.
like even trades, I mean, different level, but I mean, because Drew Holiday cost you a ton, but Drew Holiday was very instrumental in the Bucks winning championship. He played a perfect role. Aaron Gordon is just like it's more impressive. It didn't really cost you anything, and he was vital. Like he was so important in that series. He played an incredible role. He is in the perfect situation playing next to Jokic, and Jokic has the
yeah,
perfect partner in the front court in Aaron Gordon, which is wild because you think Aaron Gordon's a solid player, but he's whatever. But in this team, he fits in exactly what they need, and hats off to that team's build. I mean, looking into next year, I mean, they have to be your favorite. There's a lot of question marks around a lot of teams, not the Nuggets.
Yeah.
they already said during the parade they're trying to bring back Bruce. so they're not trying to maneuver from him.
Yeah, your
Everybody's currently
sixth
under
guy.
contract.
That's who your
Yeah,
free agent is. Yeah, like all right.
literally, literally, we're trying to bring back Bruce Brown. Jokic is the oldest player on that team. He's 28.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon guarded. Aaron Gordon, I agree with your point, Tim, is like being a part of our success. This man guarded the best player on everybody else's team all the way through those playoffs.
yeah.
And they have that nice play where they dump it into Jokic in the middle. He cuts off the backside. They throw the oop. Bruh, magic. It's magic.
I was gonna say different levels of their career and different, talent at the time, but when Aaron Gordon was essentially the best player on the Orlando Magic, winning dunk or getting robbed of dunk contest wins, or did he win? I don't remember. Anyways,
I don't
I think he
think so.
got I think he got robbed.
It was a hot topic. That was
Yeah,
the most exciting
that
dunk
was
contest
the
ever because
last
of
great
controversy.
dunk contest. Yeah,
Bro,
I
both
don't
of
know.
those
My boy
dunk
Matt
contests
McClung.
the last one was good.
amazing.
The recent one was good. Yeah.
That was the resurrection.
It was.
That's
But
true.
but
Yeah, that's
those two
true.
dunk contests are all time.
Sixers really signed a guy
noteworthy.
just so he could enter the dunk contest.
See,
And then never
that's
see
the future
court.
of the dunk contest. They need some of the more G League guys that go and they're like, you know what? If I
Yeah.
show out here, man, get on the court. It's like the 40-yard dash for the NFL. If you run a quick 40-yard dash, I don't care who you are, if you've ever played before, you'll get a chance. If you throw down in a dunk contest, Mac McClung, man, he's out there. I wanted him just to play, just so sell some tickets. I was all for it. I had no idea he was on our G League team until that dunk contest, but you best believe that day after I was calling for him to get called up.
But anyways, I was gonna say, so Aaron Gordon, reminds me of one of my favorite players a little bit, Andre Iguodala. So Iguodala was like the guy in Philly after AI left, obviously, but he never really like fit that role. And then I think he bounced around like 2 or 3 teams, but then found his spot with the Golden State Warriors. And then obviously won Finals MVP that one year. They won the championship because he was huge on defense. Like one of the reasons they helped win that series. And it reminds me a little bit of Aaron Gordon because he, like I said, he was that guy in Orlando, then comes to a team, was a little slow to get started, and found his way. And I mean, how many defensive stops did you see him make and get rebounds at important times during the whole playoff run? And I think he, like you guys were saying, he kind of fit in like a perfect puzzle piece. And like I said to Tyrell when we were talking the other day, it's like you kind of saw what the Lakers were trying to do. They were making all these trades and adjustments leading up to the deadline, and they put together a really good team that helped get them into the playoffs. But Denver has been like assembling this team for a couple of years now, and like this is like the fruits of their labor. And it's just a well-oiled machine. Like they could probably they probably would have beaten almost any team that came out of the East. I think even the Celtics, they would have spanked their butts, but
they would have had no problem with the Celtics either. They were clearly the best team, and I mean, going and looking into next year, like with the West or what it is, they're like set, they're ready to go. They're talking about their 6-man bringing him back. I'd be surprised if he didn't want to stay. But then you got like teams like the Warriors. Who knows what's going to happen there? They're either going to pay $1 billion tax deficit, or they're going to have to say goodbye to some of these core pieces of the dynasty. I mean, the Grizzlies, they haven't even started, and they seem like they're falling apart. I mean, John might be in jail. There, he said Dylan Brooks could come back for a bag of peanuts and a $10 bill, and he's not. We're not offering it. Yeah. Lakers. I mean, LeBron is still LeBron. He's still great, but he definitely showed a little father time caught off to him this year. It wasn't LeBron's fault that they got swept. It's more because Anthony Davis is softer than overcooked pasta. But LeBron James is no longer the guy that could just go win a series because because he can. He's definitely showed his age. I mean, I'm not going to buy the Clippers until they stay healthy, and who knows what's going to happen with the Suns. I mean, they got talent, but their roster problems. The Chris Paul could be on the way. Like the Nuggets look like they're ready to go again, and they were so dominant this year. Like I just don't think they're going to have any problem competing with whoever it is with a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, I did run a quick poll, and I saw people were saying it was about 60-40. Will the Nuggets repeat? And 60 said no, but 40 is pretty good for a yes, they'll repeat. That shows how weird the West is, because the West used to be this powerhouse, and now it's like there's like 3, maybe 4 elite teams, and then the rest are like fodder. Whereas the East,
well, I mean, going East
is
into
more balanced.
The playoffs,
yeah,
everyone was saying they were loaded. I mean, the Warriors were a playing team. Yeah, the team that won the championship the year before, but they're just. I don't know. I think everyone really got exposed in the playoffs one way or another. Except for the Nuggets, who just look incredible.
Speaking of, so to cap it off, congrats to the Nuggets and Jokic, which I will say, people often forget because they just like to start trouble. Joel Embiid won the regular season MVP, which means he was the best player during the regular season. Jokic was by far the best player in all of the playoffs, even the finals, but like throughout the playoffs. He averaged like 30 points a game or 28 points a game or something like that through the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
Almost
30,
a triple
12, and
double.
7. 30,
Yeah, almost a triple double. But yeah, I just think people are silly trying to bring up Embiid again because it's like, not to knock Jokic, but he won back-to-back NBA MVPs for the regular season and then did nothing in the playoffs. So there's got to be a give and take. But regardless, what was your guys' kind of take from the entire playoffs as a whole? Like, obviously, the Heat making it as an 8 seed and having to do the play-in after losing the first game was pretty impressive. But what did you think overall of the NBA playoff tournament, if you want to call it? Anything that kind of stuck out to you?
I mean, go ahead, guest. You're still living on your high horse.
I would say a lot of slander for the Heat, but
Yeah,
two finals appearances in 4 years.
it's
I know I
it's wild.
Yeah,
It's wild.
I know a lot of people have the narrative it was fluke and this that and the third blah blah
You don't
blah.
fluke
The
your
only
way.
thing,
Yeah, no,
and that's what I was gonna say. You can't fluke your way to the conference finals 2 out of
no,
4 years.
no.
But I will say if there was one over like there was one glaring thing that always rings in my head, bro. Healthiest team wins.
Yeah,
Healthiest team
Yeah.
wins. 100%.
yeah.
Like you think about Giannis goes down halfway through, or not even
That
halfway
changed
through, and
that changed the entire
literally the end of the
playoffs.
first, bro, the end of it was like what 11, 10 minutes or whatever, 10 or 11 minutes in the first quarter. He goes down. He's out the next 2 games. He comes back. They're already in a deficit. Now, everyone else on the Bucks should have stepped up because they have a deep roster, but that
Mm,
also shows that the Heat were ready.
yeah,
On
yeah.
the other hand, the Heat were also extremely hurt. Victor Oladipo tears his ACL. He goes down. Tyler Hero breaks his hand. Like he goes down. So they were missing some
He didn't play
pieces
at
and
all,
stuff like
right,
that.
Hero?
No, and
Yeah.
that was the thing. He was available for Game 5,
He
and
was
they
supposed to
didn't
play
play him.
game. They thought game 2 maybe, and then they just kept pushing it
You
back and
weren't going to
back.
throw him in
Yeah,
out there though. That would have,
A
what's
one-handed
he going to
Hero
give
is
you? He
better
hasn't
than
played. He's
Donis Haslam off the bench, so I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you have guys that like
bruh.
Vincent, Martin. You're not going to cut out their minutes to bring in a guy
And
who's
they
going to
were
sit on the bench.
playing incredible basketball. They were playing incredible
Exactly. There's no
basketball. Like
way he was
regardless of
touching the
the
court.
whole undrafted narrative and stuff like that. Like, bro, we got second rounders. Like, who cares? Like at the end of the day, they were balling.
Yeah.
So
Yeet.
definitely say that the Heat did their thing. So I thought that was really dope to see them come back because especially because this also shows that the bubble wasn't no bullshit. Because all those teams who were competing
Yeah.
in the bubble were right here, right
Yep.
competing again for a
I think
championship. Like that
we talked
bubble,
about that. Yeah.
putting the asterisk on the bubble. I had said from jump was bullshit, just because of like, oh well, it doesn't count, and then 20 extra games, and then it's like all this like weird stuff in Orlando. I'm like, no, bro, there was excellent basketball being played in the bubble, legit basketball being played. So
I'm still
I
convinced the
think that
bubble. I'm convinced the bubble happened. And sorry to interrupt you. The bubble
no, you're
happened in
good, bro.
like a whole nother dimension because all these stories I keep
Mm,
hearing, these players like, yeah, we had practice, and then I like went to the pool and had a margarita. I was like, what, what world was this in? Like,
literally.
y'all were
Disney
just
World.
Because
on the
Disney
best
World.
time of your life.
they were all in one central location. You couldn't do anything
Yeah,
but play basketball and hang out.
I think that was the
So
same time that the whole thing with the Suns team came out where they all like ran through the same chick or something. Like it was wild. We're PG-13, everyone. It was
what
a
a
wild
time!
time.
What a
That's Dakota's
time, bro.
lasting memory of the 2020. He doesn't remember anything
it's
else. He
all
just remembers the sad
coming
story.
back to
Yeah,
me.
not
He
James
couldn't even
Harden
tell
getting
you who was in the Western Conference Finals, but he'll tell you how
not
many Suns
not
Oh, it
players
not
was,
were in that
not
hotel room.
not
it was
James
nope.
Harden and Lou Williams getting suspended for 2 games for going to the
We're
strip
going to
club to
strip
have some
club.
drinks
No. He was in
because it
favor of it.
violates
Lou
COVID
will.
protocols.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I don't
that
have
shit
No,
well.
was that
I
shit
would
was
say my
wild.
biggest takeaways from the playoffs this year though were just health. Healthiest team's always gonna win.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, get
Um
hot, stay healthy.
I mean, yeah, that and then I look at also like player recovery. You look at Jamal Murray, the path that he had to take to get back to where he is now. But on the converse side, I mean, I was pretty, vocal about this that I think, unfortunately, Klay Thompson was like visually not himself, and I think he's still recovering from the injury he sustained last year. And obviously the Warriors might have been the biggest disappointment in the playoffs. I mean, they took the Kings to 7, and the Kings were a great story. Would have loved to see them win, but then second round they really just fell apart and like
The
couldn't.
beam team. The
I
beam team.
I just saw the beam, yeah, like the beam. I just saw like Curry was just
I miss
taking
the
dumb
Kings.
shots
I forgot
and
all about that.
yeah,
That's
well
when you
that's
realize
how
how
long
long the
ago it was.
playoffs
Yeah.
are. It's really,
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
no,
Tim,
April to June.
what are your takeaways?
April to June.
I think I mean, where the NBA right now is, I think just the parity, in the age of super teams and just teams being so stacked. Like, they remember the years when it was the Warriors and Cavaliers were going to play in the finals before the opening tip.
Wasn't that
We
like
just knew that.
5 straight years that they faced, or 4 straight
Yeah,
years
we
they faced
just,
each
but
other?
like those KD Warriors were always going to the finals, and the East was so bad, and LeBron was going to the finals. Like, we just knew every single year what was going to happen. This year, man, you had no idea. I mean, anyone could shock anyone at any moment. Like, there was so many up and downs. The Warriors knocked off this hot team, the Kings. They got the Warriors, defending champs, came up, got all hyped up, knocked off a top team. And he thought, oh man, the Warriors are coming around. Let's see. And then the Lakers come and they knock him off. Like, no, no, no. All right, LeBron's time. LeBron's stepping up. We're back to Bron time. The Lakers are waiting for this. And then they got embarrassed. Like, they just got completely, see you later. There was no competition, no nothing. Katie and the Suns kind of disappointed. Then you go to the East. I mean, I know Giannis got hurt and the Heat knocked him off, but I mean, they really didn't have any problems with the Celtics, minus them letting creeping back into it. Sixers imploded like normal, but that's like about the only consistency you can count on every single year. But I
I
mean,
saw like, go ahead,
it's
yeah.
just wide open all year. Teams even that lost in the first round, like like the Bucks, the Grizzlies, the Kings, kind of teams you thought were going to make some noise, just didn't do anything. Clippers, just it's a good spot where the league is right now. The super teams obviously was good. I think the super team probably helped the league, but I like when it's wide open like this. I like when teams have to play together. It's more than just getting super talented players and throwing them on a team and they'll figure it out. You got like an actual roster, teams that can compete. I like where it's at now, wide open. And you know what? I mean, the Nuggets are probably my favorite next year, but it's completely wide open again.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was listening to some analytics even just like this morning, and Kendrick Perkins had said like the years of like dynasties and repeats is over, because even think about the last 5 years we've had 5 different champions. Like, no one is
Yeah.
coming
Oh,
in
it's
That
and
is
beautiful.
is
pretty
I
so
love
crazy,
it.
yeah.
and is so dominant that they're just running through teams. Like, when was the last three-peat was that Lakers team from 01, 02, 03 with Kobe and Shaq. Like, that's the last time everybody's ever three-peated. The last repeat was the damn Golden State Warriors. Like,
Yeah.
when they had KD. Like, that doesn't happen nearly as often anymore. Like, every single year, there's always some team, there's always health, there's always something that happens
I
that,
mean,
that
you could
shifts the balance.
last 20 years of basketball, you can just sum up in 4 teams pretty much: the
Yeah.
Lakers, the Spurs, the Heat,
Yeah.
and the Warriors.
I
Like, I mean, that's like 20 years of, maybe 5 or so championships that weren't won by them. I mean, the number actually might be less than that. There's not many teams outside those 4 that have won a championship the last 20 years. And now you're talking about in 5 years, 5 different champions. It's really nice to see. I mean, I like seeing it. I like the wide open league. I mean, it just makes the playoffs so much better. You never know. Like, every game is must see because you never know what's going to happen.
I feel like a little bit we're seeing that as well. Well, definitely in the NHL, but a little bit in the NFL too. Like, we've this kind of like passing of the torch thing where there's like a transition from like these super teams that are always in it. Like, I mean, the NFL, the Bengals and the Bills are kind of the new kids on the block who are really dominant. And then you have in the NHL, they had what was like the Dallas Stars, the Golden Knights, Florida Panthers. Oh, shout out Florida. You're like trying to be Philly so bad. South Florida just taking L's. We feel your pain. Shout out to
But
you.
you know what? I mean, besides the Phillies, like those, I don't know. They deserve nowhere. Neither of them deserve to be anywhere near that finals. And
Oh no,
it's a shame
no.
that
Both were
they both
exposed as
came
being
up
like
small.
really not the I think the Florida Panthers were a wild card team. if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they were the second
Yeah, they
wild
went
card
against the
team.
Bruins. They knocked off the Bruins
Oh,
coming off
that's
the
right.
best
Yeah,
season in
yeah.
NHL history.
That was awesome. I hate the
But
fucking
they kind of
Bruins.
both ran into some buzzsaws. I mean, that Vegas team was nasty, and
Oh,
the
they were.
Nuggets obviously we
Oh, they
already
were.
said how great were they are.
But yeah, those like so the Panthers, the Stars, the Carolina Hurricanes, and then the Knights who won the other day. Those four teams, like that's been the most different. That's not the right word, but that's the most unique matchup for the last four teams we've had in the NHL in like 20 years. Like normally there's at least one or two repeat teams, like Red Wings for a while, then it was the Penguins for a while. But it was really cool to see. And like you guys are saying, like it's nice to not see like Daddy LeBron and Steph Curry, owning the finals, and there's some variety in there. And
Wide
you
open,
you
man.
like you
It's
like the
good for the
little
league.
Cinderella stories, Panthers and Heat. Too bad they couldn't get it done, but it was cool to see.
I gotta say, so before, like, to end on the topic here, since we're talking about championships and everything,
Okay.
because I honestly we've had some like really good scenarios and ones we just missed out of. The city and the team best like championship night celebration. Like I go to the Vegas Knights, like they won in Vegas. Like, oh my God, that must have been
Mm,
wild. That team
yeah.
probably went and had a time of their life. You hear stories of like when Dallas beat the Heat, the Mavericks beat the Heat back in 2011. They went and just ran the nightlife there. Mark Cuban was out there just blowing more money than anyone could dream of. But like obviously like a night out with like Jerry and the Cowboys fans, that'd probably be a lot of fun. I've never been to Dallas, but I would imagine that if Jerry's maxing out those credit cards, my God, Jerry probably would sell a jet to, just party. He's a guy that would be like, I'm going to go buy this club. Just going to party. We're just going to own it. Which team and city are you going out and having a rager with after they win?
Well, besides Philly.
I mean, you can keep it on the table, but I mean, think you're an outsider.
Outside.
Think you're Jokic
Hmm.
coming from. Well, maybe Jokic is the best one. Think you're some international kid coming to a city. I think honestly, the best mixture of like team history, pedigree, and nightlife. And it's kind of a cop out answer, and maybe it's terrible, but the Lakers have always had that lore in LA. I've never been out to
That
LA.
was literally my answer. My
Mm,
literal
Never been
answer was
out to
going to be
LA,
LA.
but like, I mean,
mm.
Miami's a good one, but like, no one actually in Miami gives a shit about sports, or definitely not the Heat. Like, they don't care.
I feel like they
But
kind of the
LA,
Heat are been pretty good team the last 20 years.
yeah, exactly. Well, that doesn't mean anything. That's easy, like to support a team when they're really good. Like I give LA like
We do
credit,
that
like
with the
they're
Eagles
all
all the time. What do you?
yeah, I know, but you're all frauds and phonies out in LA. Don't like the Chargers don't have
Mm,
fans. No one gives a shit about the Rams.
that's
But I feel like
true.
the Lakers actually like have diehard fans that when they're terrible, they still show up. I feel like if
Oh,
they win,
100%.
like the
Because
whole
they have
city
pedigree.
balls.
They have
Oh
pedigree.
yeah, and I mean,
17
never been out there,
championships.
but you can't really find a better. Like I mean, Vegas seems fun and
I
all. They love their hockey team, but let's be honest, they've been around for 6 years. They don't know
I will
anything. They don't get it.
say, like not I can't give you an answer on like a specific like if any team won today, but I feel like from like a sports fan perspective, and this place is a little bit of a cesspool, but
What?
Cleveland when LeBron
Oh my
came back
shot!
to the
I'm
city,
done with this.
no,
You
LeBron
just don't
came back to
you don't get
Cleveland.
you
He
don't
came
get the assignment.
he
You just
came
don't
back
get it.
he came back to Cleveland, won
You're
that
not
shit,
getting
Cleveland.
it.
coming down
Oh my
This is
3-1.
for
That shit
you.
must have been rocking. But to answer your
you are not
question,
understanding the
let
the
me think.
assignment
Let
here.
me think. Honestly, yeah, the Lakers is a bit of a cop out. And I'm not gonna pick Philly because that's an obvious answer for us. But I don't
You
know.
went
I
with
feel like
Cleveland? God damn. You're
well,
over here ripping Indianapolis.
specific timeline there, but I don't know, I feel like the
Uh,
Raiders, like if
Nah,
the Raiders won,
I
that'd
got,
be pretty
I got
Listen, no,
one.
pretty
tell me, bring
wild.
me
I got
back.
one.
I think the
I got
Lakers
one.
that second run with Kobe. I think they beat the Celtics before the Magic. They were terrible for a long time. That championship against the Celtics, I want to say it went Game 7. Maybe I'm wrong, but
Mm,
that was probably a time.
I got one.
okay.
I know right now that let's say next season this team wins a championship, we might lose the entire city. Like I'm not kidding. The
Denver.
whole thing might just get deleted off the map. No, not Denver. Not Denver. New York. Let the Knicks win a championship.
Oh, you're right.
Let the Knicks win a
I didn't
championship.
even think of that.
Bro, they go
That's true.
crazy
That's good.
every
Yeah,
night they win a playoff game. Like
that's
you
true.
gotta imagine. Yo, we outside.
We
yo,
outside.
yo, New York would be a madhouse. We would literally lose every single borough if the Knicks won a
No, you're
championship.
not
It'd be
you're not wrong
over.
about that.
It'd be
And that
over.
kind of throws in Dakota's terrible answer of Cleveland in it too. Like, they've been so irrelevant for so long.
I meant it. That was a
I'll
specific time. I'm saying
That
I
is
wouldn't.
that
I
was
wouldn't go out
still
to
that
Cleveland.
was horrendous answer.
Oh no,
We're talking about
Tyrell, back me
Vegas,
up.
Miami, New York, LA, and you go with Cleveland. You're out of your
The
mind.
experience
All
of
I'm gonna
celebrating
say,
LeBron coming back from 3-1
One
or
other
winning his,
thing,
and
his
they
return.
still
Come on now.
they still love LeBron in that city, and their economy went up by like what 1.5 mil just for hosting the All-Star weekend.
They
Like
win.
no,
they
sports
they
is
go
the
crazy for
ultimate
some
booster.
basketball. I will
I'll
say,
tell you one
but
other thing, one other one that kind of combines New York and Dakota's ridiculous take about Cleveland. If you go international, Mr. Worldwide, like I am,
Uh-huh.
Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup, that would probably ruin the whole country. I mean, I don't know how divided they are,
I
but
forget.
like,
Have they won
no,
ever?
they've been
That's
irrelevant for. I
right.
mean, they're decent now, but
Yeah,
they like can't even get out of the first round of the
they are.
playoffs. Like,
They, they're the Sixers of the NHL. They just can't. They can't do anything in the playoffs. They'll be good all
no,
year, and then they're like ass in the playoffs.
they're like, but they are, man, they
and
love their
Canada
sport.
love
That's
them
a whole
some hockey.
country. Oh God,
Canada
yeah, that's
love
it.
them some hockey.
Because you know what? And I almost like, because one thing, there was a big, soccer game, and a lot of people ripped me apart when I called this the soccer game, but there's a Champions League final. Milan, or I think it was Milan, played Man City, England versus Italy. And I was like, this seems obvious. Aren't you guys all just rooting for England? Like, fuck no. I hate Man City. I hope the Italians win. And I was like, all right, that's interesting take, but I guess I get it. I wouldn't root for the Cowboys if they were playing in an international football game, but I don't know. Patriotism, maybe, but we'll see. In Canada, I have nothing to back this up, but I feel like outside of Toronto, even if you hated Toronto, you would celebrate a Canadian Stanley Cup. Like, I feel like in one way or another, it's almost like a Canada versus America league. It's almost split. Like, I think it's like 40-60, 30-70. Your Canadian team pulls it out, like the whole country's partying. Man U fans might hate Man City against Italy, but I think if Toronto wins, people in Ontario and Vancouver are partying too. I mean, what was the year? I forget. Vancouver, I think it was, that lost to Boston like 10 years ago, and they nearly burnt the city down. Imagine that, but like joyous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be there for this, but I'm sure if the Cowboys somehow ever win a Super Bowl, that
Oh,
that place
see,
will
oh yeah,
that place will
that
burn
place
down.
would be Joe Jerry will
You
just
know we're
will
Bro,
just
we're celebrating our 10,000th day that the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl. It's been
well, cheers to
10,000
that.
days.
Well, I hope it's
Cheers to that. I hope it
10,000 more.
continues. 10,000 more.
bro,
Yeah.
bro, anyone else can win a chip, just not the damn Cowboys, bro.
The damn
Just Jesus,
Cowboys. See,
Jesus.
even though Tyrell's a Giants fan, we can at least respect that opinion that fuck the Cowboys.
Bro, if
Respectfully.
there's one thing that we will agree on, it's fuck Dallas,
Like
bro.
Dallas.
That'd be like, it would just ruin so many sports talk shows, so many opinions.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
we would lose so many jokes,
The
but I'll tell you this,
NFL
Jerry
memes
would
page
throw
would
one
die.
hell of a party.
He would. He'd have all the
Jerry
yachts
would
lined up.
just, I mean, there'd be one, like every citizen of Dallas would be like, get a free car, a free, keg of beer. Here, which Jerry, who gives a shit? It would be a time. I'll give him that.
Yeah, that's.
I hope it never
what, Tim?
happens, but
I'll give you some credit. That was a really interesting and engaging question you asked. I'm proud of you.
thank you.
Yeah.
I usually do. And
Yeah.
no surprise to you, you come up with a ridiculous, pointless answer.
Okay.
Cleveland.
All right, then I'll ask you. Any championship, time and place could be any time in history that you wish you were part of the celebration.
Well, I mean,
Eagles
honestly,
Super Bowl aside.
well, I wasn't a part of that one, so that would be my honest answer. But I think, let me think about it for a little bit.
What you
I
think?
don't want to rush it.
Yeah. Tyrell,
I don't want to rush
free to
it.
interject if you have one.
Chicago.
Oh, the Cubs.
Being
The
there
Bulls?
when
Oh, the
Jordan
Bulls.
was winning
Cubs. Oh,
when Jordan was winning
no.
championships.
That's not the way I would have gone. Cubs or Red Sox. It would have to be one of those.
Nah, I'm okay.
Where the
I'm okay.
Bulls? I mean,
I'm okay.
which
Cubs
one are
have
you
been
gonna?
cool.
Wait, so like what? What was it? How many straight championships did he win?
3. He won them in threes.
Threes, yeah.
Yeah, but by the third one, you don't even give a shit anymore.
I mean, it's history, yeah.
That was Jordan. Yeah, for the historical background, like I would
guess.
go with that one probably.
Chicago was probably living like,
Nah.
we don't give a fuck about nothing. We winning
Bro, they were
championships out here. We
what,
outside.
bro. Watch the documentaries, bro. They were boarding up windows, like the city was out there.
I mean, it is
Nah, Red
Chicago. You should
Sox,
always
Red
board up
Sox
your windows.
2004. Red Sox 2004. That's what I pick.
What was that? That was. Why am I blanking on this? Why was that significant?
It was the Bambino, the Babe Ruth trade. They were like hundreds of
Oh,
years. You know, it
mm.
was just as long as, I mean, give or take a couple of years, but it was right around the same length of the Cubs thing, I think. But I
Phillies
mean,
World
this.
Series, not to be biased, but Phillies World Series in '08 was pretty special.
Oh yeah, that was blast.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Besides that, not being a homer, trying to think of like really important. So, because I feel like for me, it's not just like, the like people would say like maybe the Patriot one, the Patriots Super Bowls, but I'm like, it's like what's something that's like
The first one will be fun. The
truly
first
special.
one's
Actually,
really good.
I got another one. I got another one.
Okay.
Cleveland 2016.
That's what I did. Fuck you. Fuck you.
The whole point of this question is so we would say that was Dakota's main objective with
No,
this.
well, it spurred that answer spurred the question.
Yeah. The only
I
reason he
stand
asked
by
this
it.
was so that he. Yeah,
I stand
I
by
got
it.
you.
Exactly
I got
why.
you. You wanted me to bring it back up. They
Bro,
came back from down
bro,
3-1. LeBron was on his bully. You already know.
Bro, Bro, you can't tell me coming back 3-1 isn't dope. Like that's such an awesome thing to celebrate.
In the finals? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Bro.
Like, we did that shit.
I would definitely. I mean, yeah, that obviously that's up there. I take the historic route with probably the Red Sox. The Cubs want to be fun, but I think the Red Sox had a cooler run to the. Although the Cubs were in Game 7, that you can't ignore it either. That would have been wild.
What did he say when he won? He said, "Is it Cleveland? This is for you." Wasn't that the phrase? Forget.
And you know what? Dakota wishes that was the one day. If you put him on any day of the entire world history, that was it.
Every other day I'm a LeBron fan, and then a LeBron like but he's been part of a lot of historic shit. Like you can't even. I mean, obviously he's one of the one or two best players ever, but he's been part of some really historic runs. He was like what 7 or 8 straight finals appearances with like two or three different teams, but like technically 2 different teams, but
8 appearances in a row.
Was it 8? Yeah. Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland. Yeah, that's. And then he made one with the Lakers. Like it's wild. But
yeah,
we digress. So to kind of close out, what are we looking at for? I mean, there's already been tons of rumors swirling about the offseason and where certain players are going to go. What's James Harden doing? Which place has the best strip club location for him?
Houston.
Now I saw a rumor that now Philly wants to bring him back on like a team friendly deal. Like, can we just move on? Like, just find something else. Like, it clearly didn't work. He disappeared. He put up 45 and then said, "I'm all right. I'm good." Then he put up 40. He's like, "All right, yeah, I'm good." I just at what point is like enough with this guy? He's been in the league long enough that people have seen what he does in the playoffs. So let Maxey kind of keep building up. Bradley Beal. I mean, the Washington gave him the
don't touch it.
Yeah,
they gave him
touch
I
it.
don't know.
They gave him
Don't touch it.
the bank accounts
it.
to half of Washington, and now they're trying to get rid of him. So
This
Bro.
just seems like a tragic ending.
Tyrell, were you the one that
that
said he was overrated?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let me give my take on this.
Okay.
Don't touch Bradley Beal with a 10-foot pole.
Anybody?
You, no. Leave his ass in Washington. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Bro, first of all, he has a no trade clause on his contract. Unheard of, because no one gets a no trade clause. Like obviously, like everybody has like LeBron, for example, has like you don't trade LeBron. Like
Can you imagine? Like it's just like, all right, see ya.
like low key, you don't trade Kevin Durant either. But that I digress.
Yeah.
The fact that he has that in his contract means that the team has to work with him hand in hand to figure out his trade. They can't do anything without his approval. One.
Yeah.
Two, that means that whatever they give up for him, they also have to somehow negotiate to be like, we're going to get you to a competitive team, but also we can't fully put Washington in the shitter. So it's going to constantly be a tug of war. Also, when he goes into like that next team that he would be on, he's already going to be on there for what, 250 mil, something like that. And then they're going to have the same deal. They're going to have the same problem, the no trade clause. Y'all going to have him that entire contract. There's no moving him. So in my opinion, there's no scenario that makes perfect sense. What are you going to trade him to Boston for Jaylen Brown? Let him go ahead and play with JT because they're close personal friends, and then that's going to work out better.
Yeah, I
The
don't I
the
don't
the
know
kid
where the
like the Kings
destination
were
is.
in talks with it. The Miami Heat are trying to get everybody.
Mm.
Like, no,
It's a
don't
weird
touch it.
situation.
Don't
You've
touch
never
him.
seen a player that like has been on a shitty team for that long, and like he's very obviously not a number one, and almost you could make an argument he's not even a number two. Like I
I
mean,
wouldn't go
His
that far.
his here's the
look at him
thing.
on the Nuggets.
His
Put him on the Nuggets.
He's
Is he
he's
a
a
number
one
three
B.
option
He's a
or is he
one
number
B.
two?
he's
Oh, I don't
definitely a
know about
one.
that.
I would say he's definitely a 1B. This might be a hot take. He's a one
Oh,
B
I
the
don't know
same way
about
Jimmy
that. He's
Butler is a
two at
1B.
best.
He,
Jimmy Butler
and
is not a 1B.
I mean, he win the finals. He looked like a 2A.
he needs someone else. I'm telling you right now, he can't be the number one option. He needs someone else. He needs a
I
co-star better than
mean,
Bam. But that's besides the point.
sure.
Bradley
Does he
Beal
does he
got
win?
con-
Okay, all right.
Bam
Does he win?
sucks.
Does Jimmy
bro.
Butler win with Bradley Beal as his number two then?
I think I could have scored more points than Bam.
He's definitely not a 1B.
Yeah,
He's more of a
outrageous.
two.
You're outrageous. No, no, bro.
Shit.
I'll say this. Last thing that I have on Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal got his contract in Washington off loyalty alone, just solely because they loved him for the fact that, similar to Dame, they figured this guy's going to be a lifer. So at the very least, if we're not going to win, we need to pay him. You can't then trade him. I don't care if he wants to go to a more competitive situation. You got to bring talent to Washington, because trying to get rid of him at this point is going to prove to be too difficult. I would be thoroughly surprised if they were able to move Beal. Personally, I'll
So
be
going
thoroughly
off
surprised.
that, all those reasons, which I do agree with, Beal might be pretty cheap. He might find himself in a situation where
Well,
they just,
yeah.
what else
Look
you
at
got to
that
do?
fucking
Pay him a
contract.
bankroll?
But see, that's my problem though. You pay Beal all this money. He's not an all-star. He wasn't on the all-star team this year. He's never. When was the last time he was in talks for MVP? Like,
I don't think he's ever been in talks for MVP.
he averages about 20 points a game, which is about where you would want the Tyler Heroes and like your second or third option at. Like, he's not like, and
Like
this
I
is,
said,
and
is
I'm
he
not
point
meaning
guard?
to like two guard,
Yeah.
two guard one,
Mm.
but like, and this isn't. I'm not. I know I'm coming off a bit aggressive about Bradley Beal. I don't mean it to
You
be as
hate this
aggressive.
man.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I
I
just
don't
like
know. What do you do to you?
I no. I just wouldn't touch it. That's my take. I just wouldn't touch it. Leave him alone. Keep him there. Now, if you want to try to persuade Dame to go somewhere else,
so how about that?
I
Like
got my ears open.
just throwing this out there because I think Bradley Beal is going to be had for much cheaper than what these normal superstar players bring in.
If
Like I mean, he's not going to sniff what Drew Holiday got. Like Drew Holiday was like four
the
first-round picks
contract,
and all
the
this.
contract alone means that you can't
Oh, of
move him
course.
for a whole. You're not going to get a whole bunch.
But I mean, if you look at the contract, yeah, he's making a ton of money. He's like, I want to say what, 45 mil, 46 mil around there. I think he's 46, 47 mil. Tobias Harris is making right around like 39. I mean, if you could just package maybe a Tobias Harris, some other, a pick or two and some other filler, I would be against it. I mean, the Wizards have to take on salary. There's no way around this. They have to. They're a team that stinks. Without Bradley Beal, they're definitely going to stink. I don't know how many more years Harris has, but I think expiring contracts and maybe a handful, picks is probably what they're getting. They're not going to get any young established talent. There's no way. They're not going to get those unprotected picks like down the road when the team might be terrible. They're going to get like a pick or two in the next 3 or 4 years and some expiring contracts. I mean, Beal controls too much. He's not going to a bad team. No one wants the contract. I think if it could be creative, I wouldn't be against it. If you get Tobias Harris off this team, I'm all for it. But you're not going to if you brought in Beal, you're not giving up like Tyrese Maxey for Beal like that. There's no way. They just wouldn't. It wouldn't make sense.
We're gonna do a quick little game here. I got 5 players. I'm gonna say stay or go. Means they go is traded, obviously. If you say go, you have to tell me where you think they might end up. So let's just start with the
I like the creativity.
the man of discussion. Bradley Beal, stay or go?
Stay.
Go.
I say stay. Where is he going, Tim?
That I don't know yet, but
Toronto
they're
Maple
already
Leafs?
talking about offers. Yeah, maybe.
Shanghai
I
Sharks?
just don't. Now that we're at the point where we're accepting it, what is holding us back? The Wizards stink. Beal. They've been loyal. Beal's been loyal to them. there's really no point in keeping him. They already said now that they're going to work with him. What is there really to benefit either of them in this
Well,
situation
the
these
Wizards are
days?
also they made mistake after mistake, and then they trade away one of their best players in Rui Hachimura for a bag of potato chips that was half empty.
I mean,
And
in the
Fucking,
Wizards' case,
fucking Kendrick Nunn. He really,
I just
yo,
can't.
this is how I'm saying, bro. The league has to be rigged because there's no way that Rob
That
Pelinka
trade.
was able to pull off that much of the trade deadline,
Our one
bro.
friend
He's
Alex is a Wizards fan. I texted him. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck just happened? Who allowed this to go through?" He was pretty upset. But
there's just no like. I mean, the Wizards need to be terrible, and Bradley Beal, unfortunately, is going to keep him in that mediocre, go nowhere playing,
yeah.
right around that border game. I just don't see the reason why the Wizards keep him, even if it is you're getting expiring contracts and maybe a pick or two. Like
Mhm.
I think the fact that they're working with him, they've already accepted they're not getting top dollar for him. They
All
just,
right. Well,
just get out of the
so
contract.
where's he going?
See, this is a tougher fit. I don't know where he wants to
I
go.
thought the idea of Philly would be cool, and then I realized I don't know how that would really work. But
I don't know, man. I mean, I think Philly's a contender just because Harden
I think
leaves,
I do feel
Tobias
like
is
Nick
included in that.
Nurse. Yeah, get rid of Tobias, and I feel like Nick Nurse is gonna try and maximize the. I mean, he maximized the talent he had in Toronto. I mean, he had obviously Kawhi, but Kawhi is kind of the Embiid replacement for him. So he's got a superstar to kind of put people around. So it could
I mean, it's a
work.
weird
I
situation.
don't know.
The no trade is going to prevent him. He's not going to go to any team that's not good. That
I think he would.
eliminates all the
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but most good teams aren't going to be able to afford him, and they're not going to want to bring him in. I could see, the
trading him is going
Sixers
to
in the
be like
area.
trading Durant.
Houston
They're only
Rockets
going to give him wherever he's going to go.
The
pair him up
Nets
with
are
Harden.
another team. I think the Nets could probably pull it off. They don't really have any long-term obligations. He could probably
Mm,
want to go there. They have enough young guys that they could probably float him over without putting any too many picks into it.
yeah,
Um, Outside that, I mean, it's a tough sell.
we'll
I mean,
just pick one. Pick
maybe the
one.
Pelicans.
We got four
I'd
other
say
players.
the Nets, Pelicans, and Sixers. Those are my three
That's
teams to
still
keep an eye
not
on.
one. Pick one.
I, Fuck that. All right, fine, cop out. I'll go with the Sixers. We're giving up Tobias Harris and a bag of
Okay.
chips, and we're bringing in Bradley Beal.
Are they hers? Bag of chips or Lay's?
No, Utz.
Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
All right.
I go. I still. I like the Uts, but I go with Lay's gang.
I'm a Lay's
Oh,
guy. I'm a
sell
Lay's
out.
guy.
You're just a sellout.
Sell out.
Nah, ruffles.
Oh, the Ruffles.
That cheddar
Do you
sour
remember?
cream onion
Dude,
is crazy, bro.
now we're getting off topic. Do you remember when they
Yeah,
put
I was gonna say, yo,
Anthony?
give the next player. Give the
Do
next player. Stop.
no, no,
Stop. Cut it.
hold on. Do you remember when they put Anthony Davis on the Ruffles and like nobody was buying them in New Orleans? Like they had rows of these chips with his fucking face on it, and nobody was buying them. Like, get this shit out of here.
Stop.
Anyways, all right. Next player, DeAndre Ayton. Stay or go?
Uh, I'll say stay.
Okay.
Paul goes, he stays.
Hmm.
Paul's gone, bro. He got waived.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, but
so
he's gone. I'd be
he's
shocked if they moved on for both of them.
he's gone and Monty Williams is gone. And Monty Williams was his biggest issue. So
He
he
just went
really
to the
might stay.
Pistons. Good for him.
Yeah, he might stay. And
Turned
he
them
got a
around
love Monty Williams got a lovely deal to go
as
for
he
that shit team.
deserved. Yeah.
It's
Oh my
true. Yeah,
God.
no, I didn't get that one. I just say we were
I'm gonna
talking
say
about
stay.
Aaron Gordon.
I'm gonna say he
Aaron
stays.
Gordon fitting with Jokic. Ayton kind of fits with Durant. Durant's got all the offensive ability in the world, but he's not going to guard the rim. So I don't see why they couldn't mix and match together.
Hmm. Okay.
I think he stays.
Um, I think stay because they just don't find the right price that they want for him. Next we have Zion Williamson.
Oh,
Does he
stay.
stay? I
He
know
has to.
that's the obvious answer, but nothing's been going good for that. He had a couple
See ya.
good
Of course not.
moments, but
See ya.
Tyrell.
So
Oh, Tyrell says, "See it. Where's he going?"
See ya.
there's no
Here's
way.
my thing. In my personal opinion, keep Zion. He's had injuries, but that man is too dominant when he's healthy for you to just call it now. I get both sides of the argument, but that's my personal opinion. But I feel like they're getting impatient at this point. I looked it up yesterday. 328 possible games that he could have played in his 4-year career, and he's played 114 of them. He's played a little over just one actual regular season of basketball in the
I
NBA.
mean, you're not wrong.
Like,
I don't disagree. Like, it's ridiculous how
so,
it's. But you like the first point you made. He's way too dominant in this.
bro,
There's no way
they
you're
were
giving up on
when
him
he
before
was
you see what
healthy,
he
they
could
were the
be.
number 1 seed this season in the
Yeah,
West.
so there's no way you give up for him
Give him
until
some
you see
time and
that.
have some conversations, but don't get rid of him. But I think that New Orleans is the type of organization where they've proven that they can build throughout the draft and they want to build throughout the draft. I say that they send him to
No
either,
way.
yeah, bro, they're either going to send him to Houston and get that number 2 pick so they can get Scoot, or they're going to try to go for that 3rd pick and get it with the Blazers and then Dame might have to make a decision on whether or not he's staying because he'll
Build
have
through the
Zion by then.
draft. They were irrelevant when they got Anthony Davis was a generational talent. Now, I mean, granted, they've made some picks. Like they haven't drafted anyone. They got a whole trove of different players because the Anthony Davis was demanding to go to the Lakers. There's no way Zion moves. There's just literally no way. You
They've
do
had some
not
bad
give up
luck.
on him now. You need to see him a couple more years. I mean, yeah, he's been ridiculous. He doesn't play because he's not Zion. I don't know how that works, but we also lived through Markelle Fultz's make believe injuries. There's just no way you let him go until you see a full season out of him. Plus, like you trade him now. I mean, he's on a big contract. He's constantly injured. Are you really selling him at top dollar?
The other thing too is people have been talking about his passion. Like, does he actually want to be in New Orleans? Like, yeah, he signed that contract, but who's not going to take the money?
Yeah.
I
So I
mean,
don't
sure,
know.
but you know what? I'm trying this out a couple more times before I call it quits.
Me too. Me too. I just personally think that with the draft coming up, what is it in a week? It's what, next Thursday, or is it today? Wait, when's the draft?
No, it's not today.
No, it's not today. No, no, no.
Oh.
Next week. With the draft coming up in a week, they're gonna make some considerations for
All
sure.
I know, if Zion was in this draft, he'd be going number 2 overall, and it wouldn't
No
necessarily
one,
be
no,
close.
everybody knows who number 1 is. It's not even debatable.
Dakota, is he staying or going?
I think he has to. He has to stay. Like
He's like 23 years old.
you got to make it work. I mean, I know he's
Yeah,
all
at least
about.
try.
He's a little more focused on crawfish and women. It seems like, but hey, get him back in the gym. Get the teamwork going. And Tyrell's over here sweating because I'm saying sus things, but
Bro, he said crawfish and women. That's crazy.
where was the lie? Where was the
There
lie?
isn't. It's just hilarious.
I was gonna say Chris Paul stay or go, but like Tyrell said, I forgot that he's been waived. So I guess we could just say, where do you think he's gonna go?
Shanghai.
With Dwight? Oh, Dwight went to
Taiwan.
Taiwan. Yeah.
Yeah. And Boogie's playing in Puerto Rico. Yeah, man. Like this is just like personally, like it's one of those times, man, when it's just like it doesn't matter like who you are. Like if you like the talent is too good at this point. Like if you really can't like be up to snuff, like you really might end up getting the mellow treatment. No farewell tour, no nothing. You're just gonna when the phone's not ringing and you're just done. You're retired. Same thing happened to Iman Shumpert. Same thing happened to Kendrick Perkins. Same thing happened like Boogie's out the league. Like I don't know though. This really might be it for CP. Maybe someone gives him a chance, but I really think this is it for him.
I could see him going maybe back to Houston if they're just trying to. I don't think he's gonna win a chip at this
No, he's
point.
not going to Houston. Why would he want to go to Houston? They stink. I would like to. I
Money.
think I could see him
Money.
replacing. I could see him replacing Russell Westbrook with the Clippers. I think that's a good fit if they can move on from Westbrook.
They're looking
I'd
to
really
re-sign him to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I'd really like to
What a
see.
turn his career's been.
I mean, I'd really like to see him go to a team like the Grizzlies, but it would never work with John Morant. They're both too ball dominant. But my God, that team needs they need a grown up in the room. They desperately need a grown up in the room.
Yeah.
He would be a great fit there. I don't think he would work well on the court because Ja's at best with the ball in his hand, and Chris Paul isn't going to do much without it. And I think Ja's in the same boat. But I think move on from Russell Westbrook. He'd be a nice little slide in with the Clippers. He's less erratic. He can set them up. It's a reunion.
Speaking of veteran talent, since you did bring up the Grizzlies, that would be like an adequate landing spot for Beal. If he was going to go
Mm-hmm.
anywhere, you trade off. They have the depth. You can trade off a couple of pieces, not too many. Maybe you lose Desmond Bain, but also with how his shooting is, like that might be a good trade for them, and maybe some draft picks. You get Ja next to Beal, next to Triple J. Maybe you keep
I just
Steven
don't hate
Adams
that.
over.
Yeah, I
It
don't hate
might
that move.
that might work, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, they definitely need a vet. They need a vet in the locker room.
Okay. And my final guy here who love to see him in the Philly uniform, but I think he's gonna stay. Damian Lillard. Stay or go.
He stays.
Well, Tyrell's thinking about it.
I don't know, bro, because Dame be so petty. He be so
Oh,
petty, bro.
he is so hot and
Because
cold.
Yeah,
One day
exactly.
he'll be like,
That's
"Oh,
my
I love
problem.
Portland.
One
We're gonna
day
win
it's
a
just
championship."
Portland, Portland,
Yeah.
Portland. Then
Yep.
it's the whole I'm not waiting for no development
It's
and
like, bro,
I'm
make up
blah
your
blah
mind.
blah and oh my dream spots would be, New York, Miami, this, that, and the third, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. I say
Yep.
if he is gonna go, it has to be to Miami. I feel like Miami would be the best spot for him. You get
Was
rid of
Jimmy still
Hero.
there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If you want, bro, my whole like you get Jimmy another co-star so that he doesn't have to be like one but one A.
That'd be
Get Dame
interesting.
on that team. Trade
Mm.
Hero, trade Duncan Robinson, trade some picks, give them some shooters and some young pieces to build around, and you go ahead and get Dame with Bam with Jimmy on
So
that team.
trade their
Gabe
whole
Vincent.
outside shooting game to get Dame and Jimmy
They
together.
still have Gabe Vincent. They still have Caleb Martin.
Okay. Okay.
It's good. I mean, keep Bam. Hero is the big piece there. He fits the timeline. He's really young, and he's a proven young guy. I mean, in these trades, the best thing you can get is proven young talent.
Mm.
Guys like when the Celtics were floating Jaylen Brown out almost every year. The Tyler Heroes, Desmond Bain isn't in that class, but he's a young guy who's really good. Those guys that are solid. You don't have to wait to see how the lottery balls, work in your favor or not. Uh, I think the Heat have a real chance of getting someone, but I'm not buying it. Dame's not going anywhere. They'll probably move the
Mm.
top 5 pick they have this year. Was it 3 or whatever, and build
Yeah.
around him that way. I don't see them moving him.
And that is the reason why I think Zion's on the move. I always try to do this on the podcast. I try to make one at least hot take or something like that. That's gonna be my hot take.
Okay.
Zion is getting moved during the draft. It's either to Houston or to Portland.
All
But
right. I'll
one
make
of
sure
those two
to
There's
teams.
no way. There is
Yeah,
no
check
way.
check back in. That's gonna be my
check
hot
back
take.
in.
Zion is gone for one of those two picks.
That is bold.
I mean, listen, they stuck around with Anthony Davis for as long as they could for a guy who was constantly injured himself. I mean, he didn't have
This
as
is
much
true.
lazy drama, and he never once came out and said, "I don't feel like Anthony, so I can't go play." But this team, it's not like they're that demanding of success and championships. They take what they can get. No one's coming to play for them.
Random player I just thought of. Whatever happened to Porzingis?
He's in Washington.
So that's funny.
There you go. There you go.
Washington, you're doing a great
Yeah.
job.
Yeah. And they got to figure out his contract.
Jesus Christ.
So,
All right.
man.
Well, to kind of
Great
close
spot.
out, yeah. So obviously, congratulations to the Nuggets. Congratulations to the Knights in the NHL. I know this was an NBA episode, but they had a crazy good run. They were super talented. Tim, I did text my one friend Nicole, who was on the podcast before, and she said she lives in Vegas. She said it's been pretty normal, honestly. It hasn't been
That's because
too chaotic.
Vegas has only been around for 6 years. They don't even care. Most people there probably don't even know they have a team, and they're all
That's
transit.
true. That's true.
The people that were in Vegas when they won are gone. They're now
already
home.
gone.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I guarantee you that was a party just because Vegas is a party every single day.
Yeah.
That was just something else.
Yeah.
What was that? Tuesday, Wednesday they won?
Tuesday.
Just made their normal Vegas Tuesday a little bigger, I guess.
Commute was just a little heavier.
There was someone else in the VIP section that Tuesday, and it was the Vegas Knights.
Okay. All right. Well, nice little recap episode of the NBA, and looking forward a little bit to the trades in the off season, and obviously, LeBron coming back and winning 3-1 is the best celebration you could have been a part of. Tim just seems to disagree, but we digress.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Also, this is my final thought. Jaylen Brown is staying with Celtics. He's not moving.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah,
they didn't trade him all the other
Uh,
times. They're not going to do it now.
well, he's a free agent.
he is.
Oh, yeah, he
They
is a
got to
free
figure
agent.
out
I
his.
forgot about that.
They got to figure out his offer, but I think he's gonna stay. Why break up the team now? Come on, you guys are knocking on the door. You got to retool a couple things, but they're knocking on the door. There's no reason to blow them out.
They haven't won yet, right? But they've
Nope.
been once, twice.
Once.
Once.
But they've been in the conference finals like how many times? Like
What,
they're
4 years in a
so
row?
close. They're so close.
Yeah, I say break him up. Jaylen Brown goes somewhere else. Him to Miami is also pretty popular landing spot.
Him
be-
anywhere is
Yeah.
gonna change the face of any team he
And the
goes to.
Philly.
That boy is talented, bro.
Yeah, but we shall see. But pleasure, gents. Tyrell, thanks for hopping on. Have a good nice
Till
time
next
there
time.
in in London. Until next time. Peace out. Thank you again for listening to the Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks Sports Podcast. Please like, follow, and subscribe on all your major platforms. Follow us on YouTube, follow the show on Spotify and Apple, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Have a great day, and tune in next week.